ọmọ ìyá mi tó bá ń gbọ́ lórílẹ̀ ó di gòbé ó ti di gòbé ní House of Assembly open grazing law ó ti dá House of Assembly sí méjì wọ́n ti bẹ̀rẹ̀ wèrè pẹ̀lú ara wọn ọ̀rọ̀ ti di ṣuata yányan yam pepper skátáskátá àwọn ilé ìgbìmọ̀ aṣòfin kan ti dìde ṣé mo pé mo mú wá fún yín last time bí i last 2 weeks tí àwọn èèyàn dìde pé àwọn ò fẹ́ open grazing sẹ́ àwọn Benue táwọn náà dìde pé àwọn ò fẹ́ open grazing everybody ṣáà dìde ni tí Senator Lawal ṣe rántí wọn third man of Nigeria tẹ́lẹ̀ tó ní míìkì tí àwọn Fúlàní fún àwọn Nigerians ó ní bí 13 trillion ni wọ́n fi ń ṣe iṣẹ́ màálù ní Nàìjíríà wọ́n ní kàn dìbò wọ́n dìbò àwọn èèyàn láwọn ò fẹ́ àwọn èèyàn ṣàyàrí ní sẹ́ẹ̀ wípé anything open grazing wọ́n láwọn ò fẹ́ wọ́n ní kó ní kálukú lọ́nlọ ẹ̀ dúró láyé yín àfẹ́ open grazing wọ́n ní kàn dìbò wọ́n tó bá wo fídíò yẹn bá mi kọ sí comment section wọ́n ní kàn dìbò àwọn èèyàn dìbò pé kàn cancel open grazing ni àmọ́ lè ní ẹ̀ní wọ́n tutọ́ síra wọn lójú báyìí wọ́n jẹra wọn bàṣàbàṣà báyìí wọ́n kí fún àwọn burúkú ọ̀rọ̀ di bó o lọ yá mi ní house kó má ìpín tó máa fọ́ House of Assembly ni ẹ tiẹ̀ wá gbẹ̀yìn ọmọ ìyá mi tá à ń pariwo Yorùbá nation ẹ bá mi béèrè lọ́wọ́ àwọn house yìí ṣé ní House of Assembly House of Representative yìí ṣé àwa Yorùbá rí ẹni tó represent wa ni torí last video tí mo gbé wá fún yín èmi ò rí Yorùbá representative kankan kó sọ̀rọ̀ o eléyìí náà tí mo tún fẹ́ mú wá fún yín yìí èmi ò rí Yorùbá representative kankan o àbí tó pé àbí mi dá wọn mọ̀ ni àbí tó pé gbogbo wọn dé fìlà Babaláì Muhammed ni dáńdógódé ní gbogbo wọn wọ̀ sọ́rùn ṣùgbọ́n lọ́rọ̀ kan ó ní agbára ó ní ẹtìkẹ́ nífẹ̀ẹ́ gbọ́ bí àwọn Fúlàní ṣe wá pọ̀ sí wa tí wọ́n wá ń support ara wọn wípé constitution Nàìjíríà ó fi ààyè gba àwọn wípé ọmọ Nàìjíríà làwọn Fúlàní ní Nàìjíríà làwọn èmi ò mọ̀ tẹ́ ẹ bá mi kọ sí comment section wọ́n ní ó fi ààyè constitution Nàìjíríà fi ààyè gba àwọn láti ṣe anything láti dá màálù àwọn káàkiri even Akpabio tó jẹ́ olórí ilé ìgbìmọ̀ aṣòfin wọ́n kọ́ sọ pé Nigeria citizen ní àyè fàyè gbà but cows are not citizens ṣùgbọ́n later Akpabio padà yíhun padà o but my own concern wípé màá play video yẹn fún yín o ẹ bá farabalẹ̀ listing sí ni tó video yẹn ó dẹ̀ ó fẹ́ gùn díẹ̀ Akpabio tó jẹ́ olórí ìgbìmọ̀ aṣòfin ó tún ní kó tún padà dìbò wọ́n tún padà tún ìbò méjì at last tán dìbò tán tún bòdì náà dì náà ẹ wo àwọn tí wọ́n tún sọ pé àwọn fẹ́ àtàwọn táwọn fẹ́ ṣùgbọ́n àwọn Fúlàní wọ́n bold wọ́n bold àsìkò tá máa wá mọ̀ nísìn ní eléyìí bóyá àwọn Fúlàní bóyá ẹnu wọn tọrọ ju gbogbo àwọn Yorùbá Ìgbò àti Hausa àti ìjọ bẹ́ndẹ̀ bóyá ó ní ẹnu jù wá lọ àsìkò tá máa mọ̀ ní báwo lè ṣe máa dá màálù pẹ̀lú AK-47 lọ́wọ́ how come tẹ́ bá ti wá bọ̀ báyìí ẹ máa pa àwọn èèyàn tẹ́ bá ti ń bá lójú ọ̀nà ni èmi kọ́ ni mo sọ o torí ẹ̀ ń wò mí ẹ̀ tẹ́ bá ti follow mi lọ́wọ́ show tí mo ti post tẹ́tẹ́lẹ̀ last week níbi tí àwọn Wùmé Senator Wùmé gbogbo wọn ni wọ́n sọ̀rọ̀ báyìí ni wọ́n gùn tápá wọ́n tún ti bẹ̀rẹ̀ látànà sí èmi tó ti mú wá fún yín lẹ́nu now èmi fẹ́ béèrè lọ́wọ́ yín ẹ bá rí Yorùbá kan bẹ́ẹ̀ bóyá mi ò dá wọn mọ̀ ẹ bá mi kọ sí comment section tẹ́ bá tún wá rí Yorùbá kankan bẹ́ẹ̀ náà ẹ tún bá mi kọ sí comment section but why màálù mélòó gangan ló wà ní Nàìjíríà ṣé màálù tó wà ní Nàìjíríà ó tó ti China ni ṣé màálù tí wọ́n ń jẹ and this people are telling us pé màálù tó ń jẹ ní Nàìjíríà àwọn làwọn supply
The Land Use Act as an impediment to this particular very wonderful bill to ensure that we can get and put to rest this matter of header farmer clash. And I can see why. And I want to also recall to all my colleagues that at a particular time, the former governor of Kano State, Ganduje, suggested to everyone that he has enough land in Kano State for all the headers in Nigeria to come and graze. But of course, what happened is that some people are using these headers and all that to destabilize this country. Just 2 weeks ago, I was at home in my own local government in Obingwa, far down in the southern part of Nigeria, in Abia State. Some women came to me and said that the herders were bringing their cows to finish up all their planted, and that there's nothing they can do, that even when they come there, they will threaten them that they are going to kill and maim, and there's nothing they can do about it. They wanted for me to do something about it. So I had to go to the local government chairman and said, let's go and see the DPO and let us, and they had to go to plead with those headers. That is the extent to which this has reached. Everyone in Nigeria, if you go from the west to the coast, all the way up to the Middle Belt, and you go up to the north, farmers are under threat. And what it has led to is the food crisis that we have today. So I support this bill, and I say, as we consider it, let us also look at all the elements that will make us bring out a bill that will be for the interests of Nigeria. I so support.
I will appreciate my colleagues.
Okay. I will appreciate. Kí ẹ̀yin tó sọ̀rọ̀ ẹni sùn kẹ́ tó appreciate. Ṣé ẹ gbọ́? Ganduje sọ nígbà kan, ó lóun ní ilẹ̀ tó tó gbogbo àwọn ará àwọn èèyàn òun tó lè máa fi ṣe iṣẹ́. Why tí wọn ò dúró nílùú wọn? Why? Abia làwọn tó wọ́n ń dá oko àwọn farmers ti lọ pé olórí wọn yìí. Senator wọ́n lè lọ sílé ẹ̀. Ṣó lè ṣẹlẹ̀ nílẹ̀ Yorùbá? Ṣé àwọn àtẹ̀wọ̀n bí táwọn senator ti wá ń gbé? Ṣé àwọn bí tí wọ́n ń gbé? Even the senator ní Abia kò lè pàṣẹ, àbí senator ní àbí House of Representatives kò lè pa àṣẹ wípé ẹ̀yin elders ó yẹ kúrò lórí oko wọn. All they will say ni pé àwọn ìṣe lọ sí police station lọ pé DPO wọ́n sọ fún wọn ní Abia pé tàn bá kó ẹran jẹ oko yín tẹ́ bá gbìn àwọn apayín dànù ní Nàìjíríà. Kí ni wọ́n kó ẹran jẹ oko àwọn èèyàn fún tí ó bá jẹ́ ìkà ọ̀dájú tẹ̀mbẹ̀lẹ̀kún? Nítorí pé wọ́n ní èèyàn lẹ́yìn. Wọ́n ló wá dá food crisis. Tí ní food crisis o, àwọn èèyàn tí ẹ bá ètò wá solution sí, wọ́n á fa yín lẹ́pọ̀n báyìí, wọ́n á bẹ̀rẹ̀ sí ní gé yín jẹ. Ẹ̀yin senator yẹn house, ẹ máa retí àwọn èèyàn tẹ́bí bá pa àwọn èèyàn lójú kan. Ẹ gbà wípé ẹran tó ń fà báyìí tí ò jà ó ní wọ́n ń pè nọ́mọ̀. Ẹ mọ̀ pé Jésù ò kọlà. Àṣà màámi ni wọ́n bẹ̀rẹ̀ wá gbà pé tí bá mú ẹ wàá mọ̀ pé Jésù ò kọlà. Ẹ mọ̀ pé Jésù ò kọlà. Abia State nìyẹn. Àwọn èèyàn lè lọ bá nílé. Àwọn House of Representatives Yorùbá dà. Àwọn House of Representatives tí àwa Yorùbá, àwọn dà, ibo làwọn gbà lọ. Wọ́n ti lọ gbólóṣó.
We need to emphasize, apart, what are the conditions that will give private ranching also the help they needed to go ahead? As you know, everybody is trying to run away from government-funded companies because they are not always being very well managed. We need to consider a way and manner for which private ranchers will be accessed to this commission, and they will get the necessary help for them to expand and establish ranches. Thank you very much, the Senate President. This is a wonderful bill. I hope we live to see it pass into law.
because kí ni government ò ṣe wà kò wà well ṣe kí lè pé kò sí wàhálà ẹ sọ̀rọ̀ sókè.
Mr. President, my name is Karimi Sunday Steve. I'm from Kogi State. I represent the people of Kogi West. I want to appreciate my colleague, a true son of North Central, for bringing this bill at this time. Mr. President, you know, about 2 weeks ago, you handled something similar to this in a motion, where we call for a national summit. We all know that this is a national problem. It is not just a state problem. It's a problem that is ravaging all over our nation. And we cannot just sit down as responsible parliamentarians without finding a solution to it. Thank you for your able leadership, sir. First of all, in the north, we used to have a cattle route with open grazing those days. Those cattle routes, they have been taken over by communities, and now no cattle routes. The cattle, they are all over the place. You will even see them on Abuja Street. You see them all over the place. They enter people's land, farmland, and causing problems all over the country. This bill must be allowed to have its place. We are going to consider this bill appropriately. All states must be ready to have cattle ranch. You know, the last government, they set up something that they called Rugad, and they gave, some states said they wouldn't go with it, and they rejected it. But when this bill is passed into law, by the time we are doing the public hearing, sir, we are going to invite stakeholders all over the country to ensure that we treat this issue as a national problem. So that's all these killings going on all over the place in the name of cattle ranching, in the name of kidnapping. We are going to find a solution to it. We cannot continue like this. This is a responsible government. This government has started well. Previous government, they've not been able to find solution to it. I believe the leadership of National Assembly, headed by you, and the leadership of this country, headed by Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, will find a solution to this problem. We are going to start with this bill, and we are going to pass it into law by God's grace. Thank you.
Going to the clause by clause consideration of the bill, that we must have a public hearing. We must bring in all the stakeholders, the Farmers Association, the Mitiala, and then we must bring in the state governments and all the stakeholders so that everybody will have a say. And we must have a holistic discussion on this. And then also, like Senator the civil Senator Baribe pointed out, if they need to tinker with the Constitution in terms of the Land Use Act, which is in the Constitution, to enable us create a clause that will allow easy access to land for ranching, we should do so. And then we should also know that many people may not have money to go into ranching. And it's something that we should do gradually. But whatever it is, when we go into the major issue of discussing it at the public hearing, we'll get we'll get more information and get stakeholders' opinions. Distinguished Senator Goje.
Okay. Kẹ́yìn tó sọ̀rọ̀ sà, ẹni sùúrù. Ṣé ẹ ti gbọ́? Ẹ̀yin ọmọ Yorùbá ẹ bá mi kọ sí comment section. ẹ máa bá wa pe àwọn àti gba Yorùbá nation nísìn à ń plan àti gba Yorùbá nation but àwọn tó máa lọ ṣe ojú wa wọ́n náà máa pe àwọn stakeholders for public hearings please ẹ bá mi share video kó bá mi kan everybody torí nísìn èmi ò rí ọmọ Yorùbá kankan tó ń sọ̀rọ̀ mi rí senator kankan láti Ògùn state láti Ọ̀yọ́ state o èmi ò rí house of representative kankan láti Ondo state kó sọ̀rọ̀ o ṣé wọn ò ní house of rep lákùrẹ́ ní Èkìtì ń kọ́ Ìbàdàn ò sí ń bẹ̀ Ọ̀ṣun state èmi ò mọ̀ rẹ́nì kankan tó fẹ́ fara pẹ́ wa ní Kogi tó sọ àbí wọn ò pààyàn lẹ̀ Yorùbá ni náà Àpábí ó ti sọ̀rọ̀ káwọn Fúlàní yẹn tó máa wá sọ kẹwàá bí ó ṣe ń kó fún wọn tí wọ́n ń lẹ̀ wọ́n lóko tí wọ́n ń dù fún wọn tí wọ́n fi òkò ọ̀rọ̀ fẹ́ fọ́ orí àwọn tó kù ẹjọ́ torí tọ́lọ́run àwọn stakeholders tó fẹ́ pè fún public hearing yìí sìn ṣé kì í ṣe àwọn ọba Afẹ́nifẹ́re náà máa pè àwọn òwò náà máa pè tó máa jẹ́ abẹ́nusọ ilẹ̀ Yorùbá agbẹnusọ ilẹ̀ Yorùbá àgbààgbà ilẹ̀ Yorùbá òun ló ti sọ̀rọ̀ tó dáa nípa àwọn ọmọ Yorùbá lórí ránṣìn yìí lórí kí màálù máa kó ẹran jẹ oko ṣé kìí ṣe pé àwọn agbẹnusọ ti ilẹ̀ Yorùbá wọ́n máa lọ síbẹ̀ láti lọ sọpọ́ọ̀tì àwọn Fúlàní kó máa kẹ́ran jẹ oko torí nísì ó ti ń jọ gàté kò ara ń fún mi bọ̀ wà bára ò fún ẹ̀yin ni ó ti ń jọ gàté kò jọ gàté ó tún ń fẹsẹ̀ méjì tí ro gàté báyìí ojú tèmi fi ń wò nísìn ni pé kí ló dé táwọn ò sọ̀rọ̀ nísìn last 2 weeks náà tí mo gbé wá tí wọ́n ṣe meeting yìí wọn ò sọ̀rọ̀ kó tó postpone ẹ̀ sànà àná June 5 2024 ká máa fi déètì sí public hearing tó fẹ́ ṣe nísìn àwọn òwò gangan ẹ bá mi kọ sí comment section àwọn òwò lẹ gbà pé máa dìde láti sọ láti ilẹ̀ Yorùbá láti lọ speak on our behalf ẹ̀yin tẹ́ máa lọ speak on our Yorùbá behalf on behalf of Ogun state Ondo state Ọ̀yọ́ state àwọn olótú Ọ̀ṣun state Lagos state wọ́n tẹ́ máa lọ speak on our behalf nílẹ̀ Yorùbá ẹjọ́ tó ìtọ́ lọ́wọ́n ọba ẹ mọ́ tẹ́ máa sọ kẹ́ tó dán sọ́hun o àwọn ò fẹ́ bú yín ṣùgbọ́n gbàgbé ó lè di tẹ́lẹ̀ pèdé a fẹ́ bú yín o ṣùgbọ́n tẹ́ bá dùn ẹ mọ́ tẹ́ máa sọ ṣe pé ilẹ̀ ń sign peace accord àbí peace accord àbí peace whatever pẹ̀lú Àmáyétí Allah Àmáyétí Allahs are coming now and they are coming in full force tó bá débẹ̀ they will come and defend their people tó bá gba kí wọ́n lọ pe àwọn family àwọn ẹ̀mí àwọn kí wọ́n gbégèlé wọn kí wọ́n wá they will come and defend their people ní House of Representatives sí àárín yín o ẹ̀dẹ̀ bá wọn pín owó àgbẹ̀ ọ̀kan lẹ́nu yín o tó bá yá ṣe máa wá dàgbé dáa fò káàkiri now we are expecting àwọn tó máa lọ bá sọ̀rọ̀ fún wa nísìn à ń rí sí tẹ́ máa lọ sọ o live show bí ṣe máa jókòó tì yín báyìí ni kó dẹ̀ máa kọ́mẹ́ǹtì tẹ́ bá fi lè sọ tí ò tẹ́ wa lọ́rùn àìtí gba Yorùbá nation lóòótọ́ à ń du Yorùbá nation ṣùgbọ́n nísìn we need to work towards our people ìtọ́ fi ní tàwa sóko ẹrú o títí tí ilẹ̀ ọmọ fi tẹ̀ wá lọ́wọ́ torí àwọn gbogbo alẹ́ Yorùbá yìí wọ́n ń ṣe tẹ́ńkíá fún wa wọ́n ń ṣe sàndóró ṣégè bá àdáyá wọ́n ń ṣe fún wa o ẹ wá gbọ́ lẹ́nu àwọn Fúlàní nísìn wọ́n sì ń dìbò abẹ́lé primary election lélẹ́yìn nísìn kó tó wá gbé sí public hearing kó tó wá di general election wọ́n ti dìbò president ìbò abẹ́lé náà ìbò councillor sì lélẹ́yìn láti rí àwọn olórí tí wọ́n lẹ̀ Yorùbá kí wọ́n bọ́ta o fún ìbò councillor tó bá wá dìbò president nǹkan ẹ sọ̀rọ̀ bá Fúlàní.
Opinions. Distinguished Senator Goje.
Danjuma Goje, representing Gombe Central and Gombe State. Mr. President, I stand to fully support this bill because the issue of farmers' herders clash is a national issue. And this bill happens to come from a senator from Benue State. Benue State is one of the states that we had series of clashes and hostilities regarding the farmers' herders issue. But I want to urge our colleagues and Nigerians generally to approach this issue of cattle ranching in good faith. It should not be seen as an issue that's going to be thrown away to some particular states because the Fulanis happen to come from those states. Because in the debate, the submission of the promoter of this bill, he said that the ranches can only be made from the states where the owners of the cows come from. I know what he's trying to do. We can't do it that way. Well, these Fulanis are Nigerians. They don't even benefit from government. They don't enjoy schools. They don't enjoy hospitals. They don't enjoy any roads. All the housing programs done by government, and they don't enjoy them, nothing. So to just throw them away like that because they happen to come from they are assumed to have come from states that may not have even enough water, enough grazing area. And you say it can only be done in that state. I think it's not going to work. If we want to solve this problem, which is a national issue, we should approach it with open mind. Where you have enough land, where you have land that can serve as cattle ranch with water and enough grasses and other food for the animals, we should be magnanimous enough and realistic enough to encourage and in fact support the establishment of ranches in those areas. But to confine them to one area it will not solve the problem. So what I said, we must approach this matter in good faith. But to say, because I know if you say that you only want to do it in areas, maybe there are very few states in Nigeria that will be willing, that Fulani can claim to have come. But they are Nigerians. So of course, if you go to Oyo State or even Ogun State or even Abia, you get Fulanis who speak Igbos, Fulani who speak Yorubas, who don't go anywhere outside those areas. What do you tell them? Because they are not indigenous to that place, they don't deserve any rights in that place? No, I disagree. So please, my colleagues and Nigerians, if we want to solve this problem, we should solve it head frontally. Secondly, some weeks ago we discussed this issue, a similar issue like this, and we even set up an ad hoc committee to come up with recommendations on the establishment of grazing areas. I think this being the case, we need to take a position, either to harmonize these two issues so that we don't have to continue discussing. Let's do it once and for all. The ad hoc committee and this issue we are discussing, I believe, in my opinion, should be harmonized so that we solve this problem once and for all. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you. We are making a national law.
That the issues was discussed just a few weeks ago, and today it has reached the second reading. I think we must be commended. This issue, I believe, if we handle it with all the seriousness that is deserved, we will begin to see respite in the farmers-herders clashes. But,
and nobody is there to speak for us. This Fulani man ló ń sọ wípé àwọn Fulani wọ́n enjoy omi, wọ́n enjoy iná, wọ́n enjoy school. Ta ló ní kó má lọ sí school? Ṣé ilẹ̀ Yorùbá ṣá enjoy omi? Ṣá enjoy iná? Ilé ìwé táwọn wá ń struggle lọ́gán, ṣé wọ́n ríṣẹ́ ṣe? Because wọ́n jẹ́ wọn enjoy omi, enjoy iná sì ni kó máa pa gbogbo àwọn ọmọ àwọn aráàlú. Only they are Nigerians. As you want one chance. Only they are Nigerians. Bill yẹn wọ́n ti against ẹ nìyẹn. Because ìlú tí wọ́n ẹni tó sọ̀rọ̀ pé ẹni tó bá ti fẹ́ tó fẹ́ ṣe open grazing kó máa ṣe open grazing nílùú ẹ̀. Ó lò mọ̀ tó mi. Ìlú táwọn Fúlàní yẹn ti wá kò sómi níbẹ̀. Kò sí grass níbẹ̀ tó máa jẹ. Ṣé Southwest tó wá kó wọn wá yìí? Ṣé Southwest tí wọ́n kó wọn wá? Ṣé grass ni wọ́n ń jẹ àbí wọ́n ń jẹ crops? Ṣé koríko làwọn Fúlàní làwọn màálù yẹn ń jẹ? Ṣé koríko náà ń jẹ yìí? Àbí wọ́n ń jẹ àgbàdo, wọ́n ń jẹ pákí, wọ́n ń jẹ nǹkan ọ̀sìn àwa, wọ́n fi ebi pa àwa fáwọn màálù láti jẹ yó. See them defending their people. Ẹ̀yin ti wá dà. Ẹ ti lọ gbọ́ lóṣó. Ẹ sì ń lé ẹ ti lọ pátí. Àfi bí àfi ṣe àárín yín kẹ́ sọ̀rọ̀ sókè. Ẹ dákun ẹ bá mi pè àwọn senators sí wa. Àwọn House of Representatives wa ẹ bá mi pè wọ́n. Àwọn dà kí wọ́n yọjú. Where on a day, more show on her face. Where on a day, about to come out of wa. Hey! Ọlọ́run àti wọ̀. Àwọn Ọlọ́run á gbà wá lọ́wọ́ yín. Ọlọ́run á ṣàánú wa. Á gbà wá lọ́wọ́ yín. Ẹnu ẹ̀ gbogbo àdúrà yẹn tí ò kí n bolo.
This issue we are discussing, I believe in my opinion should be harmonized so that we solve this problem once and for all. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you. If we are making a national law, it has to apply nationally. For instance, if you go between Umaya and Enugu on that road, you will see a large population of pastoralists. They have a place there where people come to buy cows and all that. The meat is needed by the whole country. So establishing ranches cannot be limited to a section as if they are the ones that eat the meat alone. If we are trying to solve a problem, we must look at it holistically, and the whole country must be involved. That is where we come in terms of lawmaking, so that we make it almost mandatory for every state to have one. So we can do that when it is time for us to look at the nitty-gritty, so that it's not something you push to a particular area, because everybody needs this meat. Senator Kawu.
President, my name is Muhammad Adamualeru. I represent GB Central. I'm talking about constitutional point of order, not our constitutional point of order.
Okay.
Constitutional point of order 41. With your permission, Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, I read Section 41. Every citizen of Nigeria is entitled to move freely throughout Nigeria and to reside in any part thereof, and no citizen of Nigeria shall be expelled from Nigeria or refuse entry thereto or exit therefrom. Subsection 2. Nothing in subsection 1 of this section shall invalidate in any law that is reasonably justifiable in a democratic society. C. Also the A, 2A, imposing restrictions on residence or movement of any person who has committed or is reasonably suspected to have committed a criminal offense in order to prevent him from leaving Nigeria, or providing for the removal of any person from Nigeria to any other country. Mr. President, I raise this point of order simply because of what Senator Zam has stated in the bill, which is contrary to the provisions of Section 41 of this Constitution. He says the bill proposes that ranches be established in pastoralist states, state of origin, without forcing it upon other states or communities that do not have pastoralist citizens. Mr. President,
your point of order is noted, but if you read, that's
let me make a point before you can rule.
I am interpreting the section for you.
Yes.
The section refers to every citizen.
Yes.
Cows are not citizens of Nigeria.
So, Mr. President, cows are not citizens of Nigeria.
You didn't hear what I said. Senator Nehru, are you arguing with me?
No,
I said cows are not citizens. The section you are referring to is talking about citizens of Nigeria.
Yes.
And cows are not citizens of Nigeria. Cows can come in from Niger, they can come in from Chad, anywhere. But cows are not citizens. So your point of order is noted, but rejected. You want to make contribution on the debate? Go ahead.
Yeah, okay. I'm not against this bill, but I'm against the idea of restricting movement of Nigerians from one state to another.
No, that will not happen.
Right now, citizens of Nigeria are allowed to move from one state to another to establish business without any hindrance whatsoever.
It affects everywhere in Nigeria.
Yes.
Nobody can restrict
pastoralists and citizens of Nigeria, they can move to North Central, Northwest, Northeast, South, and establish their business without...
They can do so, but not with AK-47.
Yeah. No. I'm not talking about criminals.
You don't understand. I'm saying that we are going to delete that particular portion.
Yes.
That says that brings about restriction. So, and I want to refer that to Senator Sam. He has to delete that part. So let's not deviate from the debate.
Let me conclude my contribution. Let me conclude, please. Renting should be seen as a private business. Government has no business going into renting. Even the cattle route, which Senator Karimi mentioned, used to be the practice when we had 19 northern states as one state under northern Nigeria. But then that was the time when we had cattle route beginning from Sokoto up to Lokoja. But now the states have been balkanized into 19 states. Northern Nigeria has been balkanized into 19 states, and each state has control of its land. So you cannot really bring the issue of cattle route for now. It is not applicable at all because it touches on the territorial integrity of some states. Some states will not allow it. So renting should be seen as a business, and government has no business going into it. And perhaps when we go to the public hearing, this will become very, very clear. So I rest my case, Mr. President.
Thank you. And
Point of order, sir.
The civil senator Zam.
Information.
The civil senator Zam.
Information. Information, sir.
The civil senator Lero. Just like you, Senator Lalong has a point of order. Which order?
Order 42. This explanation and also information, sir.
Okay.
I want to guide it.
Proceed.
Bí àwọn bàbá wọn ṣe dìde tí wọ́n jà fún wọn nìyẹn. Láti bẹ̀rẹ̀, láti day one, Madam Fodio wá sísàlẹ̀. Tó fi dórí Buhari. Ṣé pé senator kan sọ lẹ́ẹ̀kan wípé Buhari ó fi style tà sí Buhari. Ó ní ìjọba tó lọ kò rí nǹkan kan ṣe. Wípé ìjọba táwọn wà nísìn lábẹ́ Jagaban àti lábẹ́ Akpabio, àwọn must to stop ranching. Ṣé pé gòbé tí ń ṣẹlẹ̀ báyìí nísìn. Ẹ wo tí eléyìí quote. Àbẹ́mi àti yín orí tó ń quote. Ẹ wo bó ṣe ń quote ẹ̀ fún wọn. Wípé they can work. Constitution Nigeria will allow all the citizens to walk all around. Wọ́n lè restrict wọn. Wọ́n ò lè gbogbo ẹ má dá mi dúró. Èmi ọmọ bàbá olówó. Ẹ má dá wa dúró. Àwọn bàbá onímàálù. Ó ní wọ́n lè restrict citizens in Nigeria. Oh, cows are citizens. Well, Akpabio ló sọ pé cows are not Nigerian citizens. Wípé òfin yẹn pé wọ́n lè restrict èèyàn pé kí ẹ má rìn káàkiri yẹn. Wípé òfin èèyàn Nigerian citizen ni. But although tí wọ́n màálù gan important, màálù important jẹ́ mi èèyàn lọ. They have to defend the movement of màálù. From anywhere to anywhere, màálù can come from Chad. Àbí mama fa bí aba dem fa àwọn màálù ní social security. Màálù can come from Chad, from anywhere. But they don't care. In as much as ti jẹ́ pé nǹkan tí wọ́n ní private business tí wọ́n òun ni. So they can be moving MALU all around with AK-47. Only we are not talking about criminals. Then how do we identify you don't get criminals? You don't get criminals nínú wọn. When they even come to our farm, pẹ̀lú jagamu lọ́wọ́, many videos surfacing online. Tí wọ́n kó ìbọn dání, and nobody can even do anything to them. Àṣẹ̀mánà ni wọ́n. Àwọn ni wọ́n ní Nigeria. Nobody can say anything. Then how do we identify them? Àwọn àgbàgbà ti wá dà. Àwọn ti wá dà ní House of Rep láti wá defend wa. Báwọn kìíní ṣe ń defend àwọn tí wọn. We are Nigerian Southwest leaders. We are àbí wọn sínú House of Representatives. Ẹ bá mi kọ orúkọ àwọn representative àwọn house tọ́jọ́ ọmọ Yorùbá. Ẹ bá mi kọ sí comment section. On my next show, kí lè bá call wọn out. A pariwo wọn síta náà, ní pariwo wọn síta torí kíni. Ṣé kọ́ wọ́n bá kú là ṣe ní pariwo wọn síta náà àbí torí kíni. Àbí kọ́ wọ́n bá mú wa lọ́wọ́ dání. Àbí wọ́n ti mú wa dání báyìí. Everybody is standing up to defend his people. Ẹ̀yin dà gbọ́lẹ̀ gbà lọ ẹ ti gbẹ́gbà ẹ ti lọ ṣàgbàlá gbọ́lẹ̀ lọ. Ẹ ti lọ party. Oníyà yín ló máa jẹ yín tójú. Tó tẹ́bi bá pa òyìn lójú ẹ̀. Allah won't speak up, won't stand up for their rights. Please, if you are talking about Yoruba nation, to the end of the day, you can wa. O kan wa o. Ẹ̀yin lẹ mọ̀. O kan wa, o fẹ́ ṣe ìwò mọ́ wa lára pàápàá. We are in this together. Tẹ́ bá rẹ̀ ni sọ fún yín, ẹ jẹ́ kí sáré sọ fún yín. Nígbà tá ti move kúrò nínú Nigeria. Do à ń gbìyànjú. But for now, a ní láti máa pe àwọn senators yẹn. Àwọn House of Rep. Àwọn Afẹ́nifẹ́re. Tó máa pe stakeholder. Tẹ́ bá kọ̀ tẹ́ defend wa. Ó lè láti pè lọ o. Ògún gbọ́. A máa pariwo yín síta. Ẹ lè máa wò pé a ní pajariwo lọ. Ṣùgbọ́n ariwo wa náà máa débi kanjọ́ kan. Àwọn ọmọ yín wọ́n á dé bọ́ ìtàn ariwo wa. Níjọ́ kan, we dey there.
This is Senator Lero. Just like you, Senator Lalong has a point of order. Which order?
Order 42 is explanation and also information, sir.
Okay.
I want to guide it.
Proceed. Read order 42.
Order 42 says, by the indulgence of the Senate and the leave of the President, a senator may make a personal explanation, although there may be no question before the Senate, but no controversial matter may be brought forward, nor may debate arise upon explanation. The terms of the proposed...
Proceed.
Thank you, Mr. President. What I'm saying no, is to support that.
This is Senator Lalong.
Yes.
It says that the senator will have. Let's look at that order 42 again.
Sir.
So let's see.
You've agreed that I should go forward.
Okay, proceed.
Thank you, Mr. President. I wanted to guide this Honorable Senate that this matter I am saying that I have been part of this agitation for a very long time. But I will be surprised that up to now, we don't know some of the impediments towards realizing issues to curb farmers-headers clashes. Apart from the Constitution, like Senator Alero said, the ECOWAS protocol is part of the problem that we have.
You can quote the Constitution, but what about the ECOWAS protocol? It allows you to move anywhere with your business. It allows you to move anywhere with your cows. So in getting towards realizing this, you must be very conscious of your laws in the nation, because you are not making a law for your state. You are making a law for the federation. The National Livestock Production Scheme was introduced under the Vice President. Everything was packaged, but some states refused. Some states even refused ranches. So this matter requires good consideration. I agree with the bill, but then we need to be very careful in getting towards even the second debate, so that we have a community of opinions, we have consensus on how to go about it. That will be also, yes, I said it, it has to also go out to the West African neighbors. Otherwise you will say you don't want them to come in. They will also say they will not want you to go into their own environment. And that is the information I wanted to put, Mr. President, sir.
Thank you.
Okay.
But,
quite all right. I listened to the mover of this bill attentively, and from my understanding and from what I believe and from what is in our hand, between the content of his debate and the bill, there is serious contradiction. And the content of his lead debate, or what he presented to the Senate today, totally is against Nigerian Constitution, which we are practicing now. Mr. President, this is a very sensitive and serious matter. It is very sensitive and serious matters. It's beyond most of our thinking. I align myself with your position. You talk as a leader, and what you propose to us, I think, is a solution of this problem. It is a constitutional representation. We are representing people, and based on the Constitution of Nigeria, I am totally against this bill, and it will not resolve the current challenges we are facing. It will compound our problem. You cannot in any way make a law for a particular section to protect some part of the country. Mr. President, I repeat it, I align myself with your position, and I am advising the leadership of this Senate. I am advising the leadership of this Senate, based on what you propose to us, based on your ideas, based on your experience. You are part of the and parcel of the leadership of this country for over almost 3 decades. Let the leadership come up with something very comprehensive, which protect the interests of each and every person in Nigeria. But going by this bill, it will compound our crisis in Nigeria. Some people close their eyes on what is going on, or what lead herders to go against farmers. There is so many issues which we need to attend. Mr. President, we used to see where herders and their cattle are pursuing, killing them, destroying their property from some part of the country, which is against the Constitution. We cannot resolve this issue if we are sentimental. We need to be serious. We need to know that we are doing representation, and most of this issue is to do with the Constitution. And if we are altering the Constitution or amending the Constitution, we need the consent of each and every person in Nigeria. I commend your foresight, and I align myself with some of the submission of Senator Sitim, two from North Central. But actually, Mr. President, the lead debate or this bill, in line with what he proposed to us, it is contrary against the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, and we are not going to support it. We will fight it to the end, Mr. President. Thank you.
Don't suppose it.
Chegba, wọ́n ní bill yẹn ó against the constitution of Nigeria. The bill is against the constitution of Nigeria. Ó tún wá ní àwọn èèyàn wọ́n sọ pé kọ́ wá káwọn daran ẹ̀dùn náà mo kọ̀kọ́ bẹ́ẹ̀ question kan. Kí ló tí wọ́n ń pè tó ń ṣẹlẹ̀ yìí ní farmers elder clashes? Ṣé àwọn àgbẹ̀ àtàwọn daran ń jà ni? Àbí àwọn daran pa àwọn àgbẹ̀? Ẹ bá mi kọ sí comment section. Àwọn people yìí ní àbòsí o. Àwọn people yìí ní àbòsí, wọ́n mẹjọ àbòsí rò àgbákò ẹjọ́ ẹ̀ẹ́dẹ̀ bẹ̀rù Ọlọ́run. They are now telling us farmers elders clashes. Ọlọ́run máa ṣe àwọn aṣíwájú wa ní ọmọ tó yí ògùn. Àbí wọ́n gbọ́n wọ́n ń bẹ̀rù ni. Níbo ni farmer àgbẹ̀ àti àwọn daran ti dọjà rí? Àgbẹ̀ tó mú ọkọ́ dání pẹ̀lú àwọn daran tí wọ́n gbé èké dání. Níbo ni wọ́n ti dọjà rí? Máa yìí ní àwọn ríbi tí àwọn èèyàn àwọn state kan tí wọ́n ti ń pa àwọn daran yìí. Tí wọ́n bà àwọn properties tí wọ́n jẹ́, tí wọ́n ti ń lù wọ́n, tí wọ́n pa wọ́n, tí wọ́n ẹ̀yin tẹ́ rò bóyá ọ̀rọ̀ ẹ̀sìn ní kíní ẹ̀ pé ti yín ta. Ẹ̀yin tẹ́ rò pé ọ̀rọ̀ ẹ̀sìn ní kíní ṣé wọ́n rí pé ti yín ti ta báyìí. Ṣé pé ní òkè ń ṣọ̀rọ̀ ẹ̀sìn. These people are deeply, they stand their ground to support anything tó bá ti ń jẹ́ ọ̀rọ̀ màálù. Ó ní tó fẹ́ gbé jáde olówó against the constitution of Nigeria o. Ta ló kọ constitution 1999 tẹ́ ń lò fún yín? Ẹni pé ta ló kọ? Ṣé kìí ṣe Abdulsalam ló kọ? Tala Abdulsalam, Yorùbá ni àbí Ìgbò? Àwọn plan fún àwọn ọmọ wọn tó kọ́ mú. Abdulsalam plan èyí ní ìkàlẹ̀. Àwọn Buhari dé wọ́n pick up láti bẹ̀. Àwọn ilé náà dé wọ́n pick up láti bẹ̀. Ṣé pé wọ́n ti rí bíìlì yẹn pass láti bí 2 weeks nísìn. Tó pé wọ́n fẹ́ pa owó, wọ́n fẹ́ pín owó tó máa jí owó ni, wọ́n á ti pass bíìlì ẹ̀. Eléyìí náà sí wọ́n ti rí pass o. Àwọn tí ilẹ̀ Yorùbá dà, ẹ bá mi kọ sí comment section. Ẹ̀yin representative ilẹ̀ Yorùbá bo lẹ́yìn wà. Ẹ ti kiri mọ́lú lọ. Ibo lẹ wà. Tẹ́ máa sọ̀rọ̀ fún wa. Àwọn Fúlàní náà ń jà fúnra wọn. Ó ní òun against the constitution. Olóhun against the bill yẹn. Àwa fẹ́ wò bí kún ló lóko ni, bí tàkúté ni. Bóyá ilẹ̀ nílùú ni, báwàdà nílùú ni, ìpàdé di house. Ìpàdé di house. Bí màálù ló ní ìlú ni, bí Nigerians ló ní ìlú ni, ìpàdé di house. Ìpàdé di house. Ẹni tó bá ní ìlú láàrin Nigerians àtàwọn màálù. Let's see. Bí ọmọ wa dìbò nísìn, a máa wo ẹja máa gbọ́ lọ.
This bill, in line with what he proposed to us, it is contrary against the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, and we are not going to support it. We will fight it to the end, Mr. President. Thank you.
Don't suppose it.
I withdraw this choice of the word. Very sorry, sir. Very sorry, sir.
The civil
it is civil fighting. It is civil fighting. It's not a...
Thank you. The civil Senator Abamoro. 42 says that by leave of the Senate.
Yes, sir.
It also says after due consultation with the Senate President. So you should approach me first. Yes, because he approached me. So approach me.
Okay, sir.
So off your auditing. Okay. So in the meantime, Senator Abamoro, go on.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. Colleagues, I want to employ all of us to be very circumspect in our attitude to this late debate, because the issue of ranching, cattle routes, and the rest of them have been in the front burner of national discourse in this country. Mr. President, I want to say here that the Constitution is not only made for one person.
and that in contributing to debates of this nature, we must put national interest in focus. What we are witnessing here in the second reading of this bill is a fulfillment of one of the procedural requirements of lawmaking. There are other levels. We have the public hearing that will come, that will bring out the details of the law, where everybody will be invited to make contributions. We have not reached that stage. We also have a presidential assent that is required. We have not reached that stage. So I think that having agreed that this bill is very important and germane to our national situation now, I think that even those who are complaining about certain sections of the lead debate concede that they are not opposed to the bill. I therefore want to suggest that we allow the second reading of this bill to be committed to the relevant committees and for public hearing to be conducted, where all relevant stakeholders will be invited for them to make their contributions. At the end of the day, we'll get a bill that will make a law that will be acceptable to all Nigerians. I so submit, Mr. President.
Mr. President, distinguished colleagues.
Please, distinguished Senator, there was a point of order by distinguished Senator Babangida, and let me go back now. You caused this problem. let me. Senator Babangida, you have a point of order. But just before then, let me correct myself. When I said that cows are not citizens, I may be right in that regard. But what the Constitution is talking about is movement of persons and properties. And therefore, that is corrected. So cows are properties owned by citizens, and they have a right to be moved from one point to the other. So, Senator Babangida, please go ahead.
Thank you very much, the Senate President, Jigawa Northwest. I'd like to refer this esteemed chamber to the extensive work done by some researchers on this Fulani farmer conflict in Journal of Humanitarian and Social Services, Volume 8, Number 1 of 2020, dealing with the issue of Fulani farmer-herder clashes. The dimension to the crisis, Mr. President, has a lot of multifarious issues around it. And I think it is better for us to look at it from those dimensions. If we confine it to just movement cannot be enforced constitutionally because we have so many protocols. I refer to what distinguished Senator Lalong said regarding the ECOWAS protocol for free movement of goods and services within the West African sub-region. Secondly, we have the constitutional freedom for people to move from one place to the other without let or hindrance. Thirdly, and most importantly, the universal human rights has given everybody the right to move around. But the criminality around the pastoral herder conflict is the issue we should isolate and deal with. And I think this same Senate had approved a national conference to discuss extensively on the issue and proffer solutions so that we can move forward to avoid these problems. So I remember Senator Karimi, who was with me, had started consulting and engaging prominent Nigerians who have insight and knowledge on this problem to partake and to contribute to this discussion. So I think let us be open-minded about this. We are Nigerians and we should not make any law that will affect one part of Nigeria to the detriment of another part of Nigeria. All of us here have a stake in this country and we must all work together to make peace and to make sure that this issue is brought to the fore. I have no issue with the bill. The bill is well intended, but there are so many dimensions that we have to look at before we can arrive and bring about an acceptable law that will deal with the issue of the criminalities around the Fulani farmer-herder conflicts. I thank you so much for the opportunity, Senate President. Thank you. Yeah, yes, Mr. President. I think that's because it was the resolution of this same Senate
That national dialogue.
Yes, sir. National
That
dialogue.
this same Senate had already approved a national dialogue.
Yes, sir.
On this matter.
Yes, sir.
Well, the Swedish senators, you can see so many hands up. We will not be able to solve the problem of farmers' headers clashes by speaking too much. Deputy Senate President, you have information?
Thank you, watching it. That one of us here brought this bill. Senator Sam is a very eloquent speaker and someone I admire so much. But you cannot be perfect in everything. Obviously, there's a snag in this bill. There's a problem in this bill. And because you really cannot stop anyone, any Nigerian, from living in any area that he so wishes. The relevant section of the Constitution has been read. I saw something just a few days ago. Senator Natasha paid a visit to a Fulani settlement in our senatorial zone. Those people do not have any home except that place. They've been there for so long. They've been part and parcel of that society. Now to tell them to move to their state of origin. Where is their state of origin? Where is their state of origin? Now, for us as political leaders, the political class, I would like you to look at that. Who is the current senator of FCT? She is a Yoruba native. She's a Yoruba person, but she has won election here in FCT. Nobody told her to go back to her state. I, for one, I won my election in Tarauni constituency, my first election to come to the National Assembly in 1999, from Kano Central, but I'm from Kano North. Nobody told me to go back to Kano North. So why do you now tell headers to go back to their states of origin?
Is that what the bill says?
Excuse me. That's what it says. Now read. Excuse me.
Read the portion that says.
The bill proposes that ranches be established in the pastoralist state of origin without forcing it upon other states or communities that do not have pastoralists as citizens.
Okay.
This is what it's saying.
Noted.
Now, please, my friend Zam, understand that this is not in consonance with our constitution. Your bill is good. I like this bill, but this aspect should be removed. We should remove it, or we should. I advise him, he's my friend. I said it's now for him to step it down. I advise my friend Senator Zam to step this bill down for more consultation, for better, drafting, so that it will go in consonance with our constitution. But leaving it the way it is now, look, Mr. President, I'll tell you some of these Fulanis. If you ask them where is their state of religion, they even forgot. They look at themselves as Nigerians. We should address the issue to reflect wherever someone is his place, and he can do his business there. So, Mr. President, I advise that this bill should be stepped down for further consultation.
Distinguished Deputy Senate President.
Rule number 4.
Distinguished colleagues, I actually have experience. Most of the people I sponsored for to go for pilgrimage, who were Fulanis from Akwa Ibom, when I was the governor, do not know where they actually come from in the north. But they are Fulanis. They have been there for over 100 years. Their grandparents were there, their great-great-grandparents were there, and they are part and parcel of my state. They are also my supporters. They also vote for me and all that. So they enjoy all the rights and privileges. With free education, their children also enjoy the same, from primary school to secondary school, and enjoy scholarships and all that. So in reality, Nigeria has become one across the nation. So I would not support the idea of
No.
Senator Zam. Okay, let me ask Senator Zam, in view of the controversy created by your bill, do you want to step this bill down? No. Do you want to step it down for further consultations?
No. Mr. Senate President, no.
Okay, no, that's fine.
No.
That's fine. You've answered. That's okay.
Okay, sir.
Kó tó sọ̀rọ̀ ẹjọ́ tó yọ Ọlọ́run tẹ́ bá ti download tap send. Ẹ lọ bá mi download tap send. For Ọlọ́run ọba bẹ̀yìn. Ẹ lọ promo code mi Abiola TTS. Ẹ lè send owó lọ sí anywhere tẹ́ bá wà. Ẹ jọ̀ọ́ ẹ lọ Abiola ABIOLA TTS. Orúkọ mi nìyẹn. That is Abiola tap send. Rate wa ò lẹ́gbẹ́. Kò síbi tẹ́ send owó sí tàbá yín send owó lọ. À ń ṣe pound, à ń ṣe euro, à ń ṣe yemen. Ẹ jọ̀ọ́ ẹ support mi. Ṣé yín náà gbọ́? Ẹ wo tí mo lọ mú wá fún yín. Tẹ́lẹ̀ kí n gbé tap send kí n gbé sínú tírè kí n máa kiri ẹ̀ káàkiri mo fi lọ wá information wá fún yín. Ṣé gbọ́? Wọ́n ní àwọn ò ní fara mọ́. Wípé kọ́ ní kí Fúlàní kúrò ní anywhere. Wọ́n ní anywhere táwọn bá ti wà. Ibẹ̀ ni ìlú àwọn. Wọn ò lè lé àwọn kúrò ní anywhere ní Nàìjíríà. Wọ́n ní wherever táwọn bá ti wà nílùú àwọn. Àwọn ti wà nílùú yín. Àwọn ti ń sọ èdè yín. Ẹ wá ní kí àwọn lọ síbi táwọn ti ń bọ̀. Káwọn padà sí ìlú àwọn. Wọ́n níbo ní ìlú àwọn. Fúlàní tó bá ti ń sọ Ọ̀yọ́, ọmọ Ọ̀yọ́ ni. Small times ẹjọ́ máa jẹ́ Aláàfin. Fúlàní tó bá ti ń sọ Ẹ̀gbá, ọmọ Ẹ̀gbá ni. Ohun tẹ́ bá entitled sí ẹjọ́ máa jẹ́ Alákẹ́ ni. Fúlàní tó bá ti wà ní Ìjẹ̀bú tó bá ti mọ Ìjẹ̀bú sọ ṣe wọ́n ti Fúlàní ìgàngàn tó ń sọ ìgàngàn lẹ́nu. So ó lè jẹ́ aṣígàngàn. Wọ́n ní anywhere. You can't tell us to go back to where we are coming from. Wọ́n ní where are we coming from? But táwọn tẹ́tí gbà wọ́n lálejò yẹn. Táwọn ti sodo sílùú yín yẹn wọ́n láwọn jọ dé ìlú ni. And they have equal rights. Wọ́n bá dẹ̀ bàbí yín jẹ́ bẹ̀yẹn kó tún wá move lọ síbòmíì. They have rights to do everything. Constitution back you up. America. And wá síbi wá the citizen of America, second citizen here. America jẹ́ kẹ́rù mọ rẹ̀ lẹ́rú. Wọ́n jẹ́ kí wọ́fà mọ rẹ̀ ní wọ́fà kí jòyè má ṣe bí ọba. Imagine. Nǹkan sẹ́ni yín sọ lẹ́nu ọ̀rọ̀ rádaràda. Am I a judge? Don't let me judge now. Bí a ti máa wo comment section. Ntẹ́yìn bá rí sí mo fẹ́ rí ní comment section. But can we go to the north and do that kind of thing? Also, Yorùbá tó jẹ́ kíní ní FCT Abuja. Ó ní yẹ káwọn sọ pé kó padà sí Nàìjíríà sí ibi tó ti wá nílẹ̀ Yorùbá. Ṣáwọn ni wọ́n ní FCT. Federal capital ni wọ́n pè FCT. Federal Capital Territory FCT. Àmọ́ ìjà kíní ní FCT yẹn ṣó lè pa pàyàn níbẹ̀. Ló máa jẹ́ ká máa gbàlejò ọ̀run, ká máa ṣàlejò gbà ó. Nàìjíríà máa ṣàlejò gbà mọ̀dáre. Ẹ wo senator Akpabio gan tó jẹ́ olórí wọn tó jẹ́ president wọn. President àwọn senator. Bàtọ́ sọ pé MALU ò kìí ṣe Nigeria citizen. Ṣé kó padà yí òun dà? Ó pa òun dà. Tẹ́gùn bá wọnú aṣọ máa pa òun dà ní. Ó padà pa òun dà. Only their properties. They can move them around. Citizens can move around with their properties. Ta ló ní kó máa move around. That's how backward Nigeria is. Yes, that's how backward Nigeria is. And they said the national constitution supports them. Citizens move around with their businesses, with their belongings, with their properties in every other countries. America, you can move around if you are selling spare parts. You go from motor kó kan. If you are selling bata, you can move around kí bata kó kan. To me, I will say this. If Ìyá Sílífà tó ń ta àmàlà want to move from Lagos State to Ibadan, Ìyá Sílífà will not put his àmàlà kòkò àmàlà ìyá Sílífà ò ní gbé sórí a kò sí mọ́tò ni tó bá dé junction tó fẹ́ máa tàmàlà níbi tó ń lọ àìsàn wá sọ kalẹ̀ kò ní máa gbé kòkò àmàlà káàkiri because èmi ò mọ̀ bí àwọn ọlọ́pọlọ ní láti fún àwọn people ilé sí ni o they always say this every time and me already body to conquer ọ̀rọ̀ yẹn. They say this every time we can move around. Nigeria's constitution allow us to move around with our properties. After all, another region no, wọ́n move around pẹ̀lú businesses wọn. Chukwuemeka tó ń ta ọ̀kadà àbó ń ta spare parts. If he's moving from Ojuelegba today down to Enugu to Onitsha, even to Kanu or Kaduna, Chukwuemeka will not be going around pẹ̀lú spare parts kó máa wọ káàkiri ní títì. He has to put it in a truck. Láti gbé lọ sí tó ń lọ. So if they want to be moving around with their malus, if because listen, around what you are going to say anyway, if they will support open grazing, oh fine. Let them anywhere to man come malu won lọ ti lọ jẹ nǹkan jẹ oko ni wọ́n jẹ koríko. Let them put their malu in a truck like Emeka will put his spare parts. If they are bringing their malu from Taraba to Oyo, that's why jẹ koríko. Let them rent a truck. Àbí trailer na ko wọ́n sí. Asi Baba Lamidi. We do. Káwọn náà ṣe bẹ́ẹ̀ now. Tó bá dé kó wọn jẹ koríko tán àbí nǹkan tó bá fẹ́ fún wọn jẹ. Tó bá tún fẹ́ move lọ síbòmí. Kó wọn sínú mọ́tò. Suggestion ni mo mú wá o. Báwo ló ṣe rí lára tí èmi ò mọ̀ lọ́rọ̀ kan ṣá wọ́n ti ní hearing wọn.
Build a ranch and the governor refuses, then it means that if we make this law, the law will not be, implementation will be very difficult. So let's go to the public hearing, and I think we should combine the public hearing also with the national dialogue that we have area approved. Senator Zam, I'm saying that by the time we go into public hearing, we should combine it with the area approved national dialogue on this ranching, so that it will be totally holistic and we can hear from all stakeholders before it is brought back to the Senate in 4 weeks. Lead out the Senate.
Economic crisis ti wà, hunger crisis ti wà, ebi ti fẹ́ fọ́ ojú anybody. Ebi ó ti fẹ́ fọ́ ojú anybody. Àwọn èèyàn ti ń sun bìlísì ẹkún. Tẹ́lẹ̀ là ń pariwo pé méjì làwọn èèyàn ń jẹun o. Ẹ̀kan làwọn èèyàn ń jẹun nísìn. Baba Bola Ahmed Tinubu, you know I will still come back to you. I am coming to you. Tẹ́ bá fẹ́ kí ìjọba yín fọ́ lójú. Oh, lọ́wọ́lọ́wọ́ yìí ìjọba yín ti fọ́ lójú o. Tẹ́ bá wá fẹ́ kó fọ́ yánmayànmọ́. Kí ìjọba yín bàjẹ́ pátápátá. Kí orúkọ yín kó wọ black book. Ẹ̀jẹ̀ èèyàn tó ń sàn ètò tó gẹ́. Ẹ̀yin Afẹ́nifẹ́re bóyá ẹ̀yin náà máa pè yín stakeholder lẹ Yorùbá. Ẹ̀yin asọ̀fúnrẹ́ ìpínlẹ̀ ẹ bá mi pariwo wọn ní comment section. Ẹ̀yin senator lẹ Yorùbá, ẹ̀yin asọ̀fúnrẹ́ ìpínlẹ̀ Yorùbá. Kẹ́mọ̀ tẹ́ máa sọ tẹ́ bá dọ̀hún ni. Kí ni mo sọ fún yín? Torí àgbọ̀hún yín ṣe wọ̀ sí bí ọ̀bẹ inú páànù bí ó ti mẹ́kùn yín dání ni. Tẹ́ bá ti dọ̀hún kẹ́mọ̀ tẹ́ máa sọ. Torí àwa gan báyìí à ń tẹ̀lé yín báyìí àti di monitoring Yorubawuyi mo ti di monitoring spirit pẹ̀lú yín. Mo ń tẹ̀lé yín báyìí. If you go, I go. If you go, I go. Mo máa wò yín ni. Tí máa wà bí iṣẹ́ gan mo lè torí yín close. Mo lè torí yín ṣe kí ni close. Tẹ́ bá sọ ní bá tẹ́ wa lọ́rùn. Yorùbá nation ara tán ti pa kafẹ́ Yorùbá nation lélẹ̀. Tá bá ní ìlú ẹ̀ ti wá ọmọ Yorùbá a ní làákà ìdí pé nǹkan máa da ẹran da. Níbo nìyẹn? Who does that nílẹ̀ Yorùbá? Àwọn ọmọ ọlọ́gbọ́n ọmọ olóyè ọmọ ní làákà ẹ̀. Àwọn ọmọ tó pé Ọlọ́run dá wa tán. Elédùmarè dá wa ó fi làákà ẹ̀ sí wa lórí. máa ṣe rádaràda máa dẹran kiri. Yorubawuyi lórúkọ tèmi o. Yorubawuyi lèmi ń jẹ́. If you are seeing me for the first time and you have not subscribed to my YouTube channel, ẹ wá tẹ subscribe button yín. Aago kan wà lẹ́gbẹ̀ẹ́ báyìí, notification bell ló ń pè. Ẹ tẹ̀. YouTube ti wá sọ fún wa pé the more tẹ́ bá comment, the more tẹ́ máa gba notification. So máa pè yín, tẹ́ bá ti ń wọlé máa tẹ thumb up yín, ẹ máa kọ comment yín. Tẹ́ bá ṣe ń wò báyìí, yàpù mi kan mo rí comment section yẹn pé mo lè reply yín. Wọ́n kọ síbẹ̀. Wọ́n tàn bá ti ń gbọ́rọ̀ báyìí la máa kọ comment. Tó bá wù ẹ́ lè kọ comment 2020 èèyàn kọ̀ọ̀kan lè kọ comment 2020. Ẹ wà limited sí comment yín. The more tẹ́ bá ti ń gbọ́. Èmi máa ń ka comment, mo wá sí comment section. Máa ka comment, the more tẹ́ bá ti ń gbọ́. So tẹ́ bá ti release anything báyìí, ẹ máa gba notification. Yorubawuyi lórúkọ mi. Yorubawuyi lèmi ń jẹ́. I am the one and only Akalole of Yoruba land. Adáwọ̀ ọ̀nà Yorùbá ọmọ ìjọ ọmọ lọ Yorùbá tí ò pé méjì. Abẹ́ni ọmọ òṣèré pààrọ̀ tó máa pààrọ̀ tí wọ́n máa déwájú federal government. Wọ́n máa sign wọ́n máa déwájú Elédùmarè. Gẹ́gẹ́ bí mi àti ń ṣe mọ̀ pé yóò lè rí Elédùmarè lójú òfo. That is to say, ó lè kú bí 99 times 99 times 99 times 99 million times. Elédùmarè tó dá lóhùn. Ẹ ṣeun, see you on my next one. I love you. Bye.